Welcome to the viewers for the lecture in the subject structural analysis. In the last lecture, namely lecture number 50, now this is 51, in the lecture number 50, we have introduced the determination of influence lines for determinate trusses. We introduced determinate trusses and how the load is getting transferred, all those basics we have discussed. Then we have discussed the influence lines for the force in various members of a Pratt truss, or it is otherwise called end girder. The truss was called as Pratt truss because it was invented by Professor Pratt. Now we will take the next type of truss called Warren truss. So this is called Warren truss again because one Professor Warren has invented the truss. Right, this is the, and the speciality is all angles will be 60 degrees. All the three angles of a triangle will be 60 degrees here in this case. That is Warren truss. Right. Now I will read out the problem. I will not write the problem. Obtain the influence lines for the force in the members P, Q, R and S, four members, for the four members of the given Warren truss shown in figure. Hence obtain the maximum forces in the members P, Q, R and S when a load of 100 kN traverses from the left end to the right end of the truss. You know, the trusses will be used as girders on either side of bridges. So the bridge will be subjected to moving load. So when a 100 kN load moves from one end to the other end of the girder, what will be the force in the, what will be the maximum force in the member P, what is the maximum force in the member Q, and so on. That is the question. Right. And we know that we always draw the influence line for a moving unit load. When a unit load moves from one end to the other end of the truss, what is the variation of the force in the member? That is influence line. When 100 kN or 200 kN moves, what is the force in the member? ILD is always due to a moving unit load. Right. So with this introduction, let us do the problem. We will start from ILD for the force in member P. ILD for the force in member P, for which what we have to do is we have to pass a section. We are as we discussed in the earlier lecture, we are following method of sections. So whatever may be the number of panels, we need not worry, right? So when we want to draw the ILD for a force in a particular member, pass a section or cut a section, pass a section through the member P. Same time, it should not cut more than 3 members. So let us pass a section cutting the member P and not more than, now the section pass through the members P, Q and R. So that is the point to be, right. When we draw ILD for P, now this is the section, so we have to consider the truss either on the left hand side or on the right hand side. We will consider the equilibrium of the part of the truss either to the left of the cut section or to the right of the cut section. Right. Now this is our section line. Right. So this is, and before cutting, all the members will be carrying some force. Member P will be carrying some force, member Q will be carrying some force, etc. Therefore, we will, after cutting this, we will replace those forces. Let us say this is the force carried by this member. Initially, let us assume that all members are under tension, P, Q and R. All the three members are carrying forces. Let us say all members are under tension. Our analysis will tell us whether the member is under compression or a member is under tension. Right. Now, when we want ILD for the member P, in the method of sections, what we can do is, there are other two cut members. So, when we want to find out the force, what technique we use is, the other two cut members meet at the point L2. So, if we want to eliminate Q and R, we will choose the point L2 where the other two cut members meet, and there we apply a unit load. So, we will apply a unit load here. We will apply a unit load here. So, unit load at L2 where the other two cut members meet. Right. Similarly, moment center is also L2. Right. Now, when we apply a unit force at L2 here, we have to imagine the whole truss. We have considered only the part of the truss to the left of the cut section, but when you find out the reactions, we have to imagine the whole truss. In the whole truss, when you apply a unit force at L2, the reaction or L0, the reaction or let us call this as R1, let us call the reaction at the right end as R2. So, R1 into 50 is the span of the truss. When we are taking moment about the right end, considering the whole truss, minus 1 into 30. About the point L5, it is 30 equal to 0. That's all. Only unit force is applied at L1. Right. Therefore, R1 equal to 30 by 50 equal to 0.6. The reaction equal to 0.6. So, this value equal to 0.6. Imagining the whole truss. Right. Now, considering the equilibrium of the truss only to the left of the cut section or to the right of the cut section also, any one part. Right. And let us take moment about the point L2, because we have cut the truss, we have replaced the force in these members through P, Q and R. Now, when we want to find out the ILD for P and to eliminate Q and R, we have chosen L2 as the point where we apply the unit load, and also it is the moment center. Therefore, when we take, so this is the moment center. So, when we take moment about L2, R1 into 20 meters, because each 10 meters, each panel equal to 10 meters. Therefore, R1 into 20, and plus P into the height of the truss. The height of the truss, so we know in the case of Warren truss, all angles are 60 degrees. So, when you want to find out the vertical height, so this is 10 meters, all angles, so this is 10 meters. Now, this angle is 60 degrees, H is what is wanted. So, half this will be 5 meters. 5 meters. Therefore, opposite side is h by 5 meters equal to tan 60 degrees. H by 5 equal to tan 60. Therefore, h equal to 5 into tan 60. 5 into tan 60 equal to 8.66 meters. So, the height of the truss is 8.66 meters. Now, taking moments, R1 into 20 plus P into the height 8.66. So, plus P into 8.66, because this is R1 but vertically upward direction, therefore, this is clockwise. The force is to the right, so this will also cause a clockwise moment about L2. And the other two forces are Q pass through the point L2, that will not cause any moment. R pass through the point L2, that also will not cause any, because moment equal to force into the perpendicular distance. When that pass through the point, moment equal to 0. Therefore, this is equal to 0. That is the purpose of choosing a point where the other two cut members meet, so that you can easily eliminate the other two members. So, they will not interfere in our calculations. Therefore, R1 equal to 0.6 into 20 plus P into 8.66 equal to 0. Therefore, that will give P equal to minus 1.386 or P equal to 1.386 compression. The member P is under compression. So, we have to draw the ILD. Actually, for want of space, I will draw here. I will draw a small diagram. Actually, the ILD will run from L0 to L5. L0 to L5. So, in a smaller diagram, I will just represent. So, this is L0, this is L5. We have applied the unit force at L2. So, at L2, the ordinate here is 1.386. So, this value equal to 1.386. So, this is the ILD. This is the ILD. ILD for force in P. ILD for force in P. Actually, it has to be drawn starting from L0 to L5, because I used to observe students to draw a small sketch like, but when you write it as L0 and L5, that is understood. So, that is very important, right. That is about the influence. Therefore, when the unit load varies from L0 to L5, the force in the member P will vary like this. Now, next question is, what is the maximum force in the member P? This is due to a moving unit load, right. What is the force in the member? So, the force in the member P will be maximum when the external load is applied where the ordinate is maximum. So, it is traversed by a 100 kilonewton force. We know that when a concentrated load moves from one end to the other end, the force equal to load into the ordinate. So, ordinate is maximum at L2. Therefore, we have to apply the load 100 kilonewton load where the ordinate is maximum 100. Therefore, maximum force in P equal to the load into ordinate. Load is 100 maximum ordinate is 1.386, therefore load is 100, 1.386, therefore it is 138.6 kilonewton. Therefore, when the 100 kilonewton load moves from the left end to the right end, the maximum force in the member P will occur when the load is at L2, where the ordinate is maximum. So, load into this ordinate is the maximum compressive force, and for this force we have to design the member P of the truss. So, this is for one member. So, next we will take up ILD for Q. ILD for force in member Q. Now, for force in member Q also, we have to pass a section cutting the member Q and cutting totally not more than 3 members. So, the same section that you have drawn earlier cuts member Q and P and R. So, cutting not more than 3 members. Now, the other two cut members P and R, they are parallel members. So, they will not meet. So, you cannot choose the top chord or bottom chord as a loaded chord for taking moments, because when you choose some point at the bottom chord, P into height, P will come into the picture. When you choose some point in the top chord, R will come into the picture. Our idea is to eliminate the other two cut members. When you find out the force in the member Q, P and R should not come into the picture. Therefore, what we do is, we are going to make use of the condition sigma V equal to 0. Instead of taking moment, we are going to make use of sigma V equal to 0. Now, before telling about Q, I have missed one point, so that I will just touch upon with reference to this diagram. ILD for a member at a point L2, if it is a simply supported beam, it is the maximum ordinate is x into L minus x by L. This we have already studied under beams, right? Alright. Now, here x is equal to 20 meters up to the point L2, x is 20, L minus x is 30. Therefore, x is 20, L minus x is 30 by 50. So, this is equal to say 60 by 5 equal to 12. This is the ordinate. In some books, you will find that mu at the point bending moment as a simply supported beam, mu C or mu L2, because we have applied the unit load at L2, mu L2. Mu L2 bending moment as a simply supported beam is x into L minus x by L, that is equal to 12. It will be given that mu C by h, where h is the height of the truss. Therefore, this 12 by height of the truss. Height of the truss is 8.66. So, this is 12 divided by 8.66, that is mu C by h, height of the truss. So, 12 by 8.66, that will also be equal to 1.386. Therefore, for the top chord members and for bottom chord members, ILE as a simply support beam is x into L minus x by L divided by the height of the truss. So that will also give you the same value 1.386. So this can be used for checking the answers. After doing all calculations, whether 1.386 is correct or not, to check, you can find out the value of x into L minus x by L as a simply supported beam, divide by the height of the truss, that value will be the same. Therefore, on seeing this formula in the book, the viewers need not get confused. It is mu c by h only. So that I wanted to tell you in the last class, I forgot. At least now I have told you, right. Right. Now, ILE for Q, we have passed the section. Right. Now, in this case, we will apply the unit force to the left of the cut section once and to the right of the cut section once, because the top chord members, if it is a simply supported truss, all members of top chord will be under compression and all members of bottom chord will be under tension, provided it is subjected to downward load and it is simply supported. Right. Now, inclined members, depending upon the position of the load, for some position of the load it will behave as a compression member, for some other position it acts as a tension member. So there will be a point at which it will change from compression to tension. So up to what position of the load it acts as a compression member, and beyond which it will be under tension. So that we have to find out. Right. Therefore, we will first apply the unit force at L2. This is the cut section. This is the cut section. We will apply the unit force at L2. We know when we apply the force at L2, the reaction is R1. Same diagram will help us. So we are going to make use of the condition sigma V equal to 0. Sigma V equal to 0 gives R1 is in the upward direction, R1 is in the upward direction, and unit force is within the cut section, it is within the cut section, therefore minus 1, because it is within the cut section, plus Q into, we are resolving in the vertical direction. So Q into this angle is 30 degrees, half of 60 degrees, that is 30 degrees. So Q into cos of 30 degrees. So that is also in the upward direction. Direction is very important, right? So here P will not give any vertical component, so we can forget about it. R also will not give any vertical component. So that is the purpose of choosing sigma V equals 0. We have eliminated the other two cut members P and R because they will not cause any vertical component, because cos 90 equal to 0. Therefore, that's all. We have considered all the forces in the truss to the left of the section. We have considered all the forces R1, R, Q, P, everything. Of course, P and R will not interfere in our equation. So this is equal to 0, sigma V equal to 0. So that will give you R1 equal to 0.6 minus 1 plus Q cos 30 degrees equal to 0. That will give you Q equal to 0.462 tension. 0.462. So that means you are getting with the plus sign, because when this is taken to the right hand side, minus 0.6 plus 1, that on calculations will give you 0.462. Therefore, Q is 0.462 tension. You are getting with the plus sign. We have assumed it as tensile. Because it is tensile, we are getting with the positive sign. That's all. So, positive. Right. When you apply the unit force at L2, now this member is under tension. Same L5. From one end to the other end of the truss. Right. Now, when we apply the unit force at L2, the member is under tension. So, it is this value equal to 0.462. Right. Let us wait for the further result. Now, let us apply the unit force at the right end of the cut section. Right. One is to the left of the cut section, L2. The other one is to the right of the cut section, L3. Because we have to apply the unit force in the loaded card, because this is a through truss. Already we have discussed in the earlier class that in the case of through trusses, when you travel through the trusses, on either side you will be able to see the web members. It is a through truss. So, the load will move along the bottom card. The load, this is the card along which the load will move, bottom card, along the bottom card. So, the bottom card is a loaded card. So, one loaded card is L2 for this member, the other is L3. Between L2 and L3, what happens to the force of the member Q? Right. Now, we will apply the unit load at L3. Unit load at L3. At L3. And here again, we are going to make use of only sigma V equal to 0. Sigma V equal to 0 gives. Now, before proceeding with this, we have to find out what is the reaction, because unit load is now at L3. So, the reaction will be R1 into 50 minus 1 into 20 equal to 0. Take moment about L5, it is L3, for unit forces L3, 10 plus 10, 20 equal to 0. Therefore, R1 equal to say 20 by 50 equal to 0.4. So, when unit force is at L3, that is this is the cut section. Now, we are applying the unit force at L3 here, L3, therefore, equal to 0.4. This value is 0.4. Now, when we apply sigma V equal to 0, so 0.4 in the upward direction, and this is Q into the vertical component into cos 30. This is 30 degrees, cos 30, cos of its angle with the vertical. So, minus Q, not minus, plus, because this is in the upward direction, the vertical component will also be in the upward direction. So, Q cos 30, and now the unit force is beyond the cut section. So, previously the unit force was within the cut section, we have included, now it is beyond the cut section, we can forget about the unit force. And the other two forces are, one is P, that will not cause any vertical component, this is R, that will not cause any vertical component. So, only Q we have accounted. So, this is equal to 0. So, this will give you Q equal to minus 0.462, minus 0.462 unit kilonewton or whatever maybe the unit of the force. So 0.462 compression. Minus means compression. Therefore, Q equal to 0.462 compression. So now we have applied the unit force at L3. Now we have to draw the ordinate at L3. This is, say, let us say L3. Now here we have, it is 0.462. 462. So this is plus tension, this is minus. So this value is 0.462. This is ILD for Q. ILD for the force member Q. Therefore, the diagonal member Q acts as a tension member when the load is before this, where it changes the sign. So before this, whatever is the position of the unit load, the member will be acting as a tension member, and beyond this, when the load crosses this point, when the load crosses a particular point, of course, here it is a mid panel, therefore up to the center, up to the mid. So when the unit load is between L0 to midpoint of this, the member Q will act as a tension member, and beyond this, the same member will act as a compression member. The maximum tensile force, I will just avoid the calculations because it is traversed by a load of 100 kilonewton. Therefore, when the 100 kilonewton load is on this section, the member will be subjected to maximum tension whose value equal to 46.2. 100 into 0.460 equal to 46.2 kilonewton, because this is the maximum ordinate. When the given load is exactly over L2, 100 into 0.462 is the maximum tensile force to which the member is subjected to. Similarly, since it is a moving load, when the load occupies this position, that is, when the 100 kilonewton moving load occupies this position, the same member will be subjected to a maximum compressive force of 46 point. So the force equal to load into the ILD ordinate of the infinite diagram. So here it is 100, so 100 into 0.462. So the maximum tensile force is 46.2 when the load is at L2. The maximum compressive force is, so that is tensile, this is compressive, 100 into 0.462. So that is the maximum force in the inclined member Q. Next we will take up ILD for force in the member R. Right. Now here also you have to pass a section through the member R, same time cutting not more than 3 members. Therefore, the same section that you have considered earlier, namely cutting R, Q and P, same section holds good. Right. Now here the other two cut members meet at the point U2, not U2, U3. It is at U3 because this is one cut member, this is another cut member. They meet at the point U3. We are interested now in R. Other two cut members are P and Q, they meet at the point U3. Right. Now we will make use of this diagram. The other two cut members, so we are interested in R, this is Q, this when extended and this when extended meet at the point U3. Therefore, we have to apply the unit load at U3, where the other two cut members meet. Moment center is also U3. Right. Now, when we apply the unit force at U3, namely here, unit force at U3 is this point. U3 is this point. U3 is the midspan actually. Midspan. So 10 plus 10 plus 5, 25. So when you apply the unit force at U3, the reaction here will be 0.5 because we applied the unit force at the midspan. 0.5. 0.5 is the reaction. Considering the whole truss. When you find out the reaction, you have to imagine the whole truss. Right, 0.5. Right. Now, moment center is U3. Take moment about. Now here, the other two cut members P and Q meet at the point U3. You can easily eliminate the other two members when you take moment about the point U3. Therefore, moment about U3 equal to 0.5 reaction into 25. 0.5 into 25 is a clockwise moment because the reaction is upwards. The other one is that of R. R will cause an anti-clockwise moment. R is towards right, point is above, that will cause an anti-clockwise moment into height of the truss. Height of the truss is 8.66 meters. We have to consider all the forces. One is the reaction considered, R we have considered, Q pass through the point U3, that will not cause moment, P pass through the point U3, that also will not cause any moment. Therefore, that's all, we have considered all the forces, that this is equal to 0 because all joints are pin joints. Moment about any pin joint equal to 0. So, equal to 0. Therefore, R equal to 0.5 into 25 by 8.6 because this when it goes to the right hand side this will also become minus and minus will get cancelled equal to this value. R equal to 1.443. 1.443. We are getting with the plus sign, therefore it is tension. We are getting with the plus sign, therefore it is under tension. Now we have applied the unit force at L3. L3 is the midspan, therefore this is L3, yes. This is the point L3. It is under tension, therefore you can draw it above the line. Now this value equal to 1.443. This is the ILD for the force in the member R. ILD for the force in the member R. So it has to start from L0 up to L5. L0 to L5. So this is the ILD and it is subjected to a moving load of, this is due to a moving unit load. ILD is due to unit load and this is traversed by a load of 100 kilonewton. So from the ILD we can find out what position of the given load will cause maximum force. Naturally, it is a section where the ordinate is maximum. You have to place the given load if it is a concentrated load. It has to be placed over the section where the ordinate is maximum. So here the ordinate is maximum. Therefore, here you have to, because it is a moving load, it can occupy any position. But for getting maximum force in a particular member, we have to apply the load because it can occupy any position from L0 to L5. When we want to find out the maximum force, we have to place the load where the ordinate is maximum. Because the force in the member R equal to the load into the ordinate. So load into ordinate, will be, this is equal to 144.3 kilonewton tensile. Therefore, the member R will have to be designed for a maximum tensile force of 144.3 kilonewton. Tension. Right. Then we got to one more member. That member is R. Or not R, it is S. Right. ILD for the force in the member, yes. For getting the ILD for the force in the member S, we have to pass a section cutting the member S and cutting not more than 3 members. So let us pass a section like this. Pass a section like this, cutting the member S and cutting not more than 3 members. Right. Now, this is our section. It's our section. Right. Now, this is again P. This will be under a force. Let us take it is under tension. Now, this member is the one for which we want to draw the ILD. Let us extend this member. Let us assume it is also under tension. And let us assume the force in this member as T. T or some other letter we can just give. Right. Now, when you want to draw ILD for S, it is an inclined member. The other two cut members P and T, they are parallel members. They will not meet. But we have to eliminate the force. For eliminating, suppose when you take this as the load point, T will come into the picture. T and S will come into the picture. When you choose this point, P and S will come into the picture. We cannot eliminate. And also, taking moment, getting the perpendicular distance to the point, all these things will be problem. Because when you take moment about this point, for this force, we have to find out the perpendicular distance. That all those things will be tedious. Therefore, what we can do is, here again, before the cut section and after the cut section, we will apply the unit force and avoid taking moments. We will use sigma V equal to 0. That is, let us first apply the unit load at L1 to the left of the cut section. Unit load is applied at L1. Unit load at L1. Therefore, when it is at L1, when you take moment about the right support, imagining the whole truss, let us say R1. R1 into 50 minus 1 into 40 equal to 0, or R1 equal to 40 by 50 equal to 0.8. So, this reaction equal to 0.8. Now, we will use sigma V equal to 0. Sigma V equal to 0 gives, now 0.8 is the reaction. It is in the upward direction. Then unit force. So, this is the cut section. Unit force is within the cut section, so that we have to account. Therefore, minus 1 because it is in the downward direction. Then S into its angle with the vertical is 30 degrees because total is 60 degrees. Therefore, this angle is 30 degrees. S into cos 30. So, that is also downwards. Therefore, minus S into cos 30. This is also downwards. It's also downwards. Equal to 0. Here we have to apply one correction. Anyway, that I will see. We will see after some time, right? So that I should not forget. there is a correction, we will discuss later, right. Now this is equal to SE equal to this, when this goes to the right hand side it will become plus and this will become minus. So this is already minus. So on simplification, SE equal to 0.231, 0.231 compression. We will be getting the value with the minus sign. Therefore, S will be under compression. Here again, we will make use of this space. Starting from L0 to L5, for want of space we are utilizing this, and the first panel we are applying the unit force at L1. So when you apply the unit force at L1 at the end of the first panel, this is L1, this is compressive, this value is L1, this is compressive, this value is 0.231 minus, 231 minus, right. So we have applied the unit force only to the left of the cut section. Now we will apply the unit force at the right of the cut section in the loaded card. You know, the bottom card is the loaded card. Therefore, now we will apply the unit force at L2. Unit force at L2. Unit force at L2, we know when the unit force is applied at L2, already we know that the reaction is 0.6. Reaction is that will not repeat the calculation because already it is known when the unit load is applied at L2, because after L1 we are going to apply only the unit force at L2, which is the loaded card, because it is a through truss loaded card. So when it is applied at L2, reaction is 0.6. Therefore, we will use sigma V equal to 0. Gives 0.6, 0.6 and unit force is at L2. Now, this is our cut section. Our cut section is this. Our cut section is this. This is our cut section. Now we are applying the unit force at L2. Here we are applying the unit force. The reaction is 0.6. Therefore, before the cut section we have 0.6 is the reaction. Unit force is beyond the cut section. We need not bother. The horizontal member T will not cause any vertical component because we are using the equation sigma V equals 0. P will not cause any vertical component. Only S will cause a component, and S is in the downward direction. Therefore, minus S into cos of its angle with vertical equal to 0. That's all. One is beyond the cut section. Therefore, this will give SE equal to 0.693. 0.68. We are getting the plus sign. Therefore, it is under tension. So when unit force is at L2, it is under tension. Therefore, it is 0.693. So that member also changes its sign depending upon the position of the load. This value is 0.693. So this is minus and this is plus. Compression is minus, tension is plus. This is the ILD for the member S. ILD for the member S. So again, the member S will be subjected to a maximum compressive force of 100 into 0.231, namely 23.1 kilonewton. When the member S is designed as a compression member, it has to be designed for a force of 23.1 kilonewton. When the member S is designed as a tension member, because it acts both as a tension member as well as a compression member depending upon the position of the load. So the maximum tensile force equal to 100 into points, that is you have to place the load. When the 100 kN load occupies this section, it will be subjected to a maximum tensile force of 100 into 0.693, namely 69.3 kilonewton tensile force. So it has to be designed. Right. One more point which I missed now is, for ILD for the member R, the other two cut members are U3. So U3, here we applied the unit load at U3, but U3 is not the loaded card. So when the load is traversing through the loaded card, the load will be transferred either to the left end or to the right end and not to U3 or U4. It will not carry any force. So that will not, the load will not transfer through the top card because it is a through truss. Right. Therefore, when the unit load is applied at U3, for want of our calculations, you have to apply a correction factor. That is, when the unit load it is say at L2, what is the ordinate? When the unit load is at L3, what is the ordinate? That we have to apply, that we have missed. Therefore, at L2, we just draw the ordinate, and also L3, we have to draw the ordinate. We have to find out the ordinates. And these two you have to connect. And the value happens to be 1.154. Here it is 1.154 for, of course, for 25, if this is the value, for 20, what is the value? Similarly, here also for 25, this is the value, for 20, what is the value? This value is also equal to 1.154. So this should not be used. And this is the corrected diagram. The corrected diagram is only the trapezium, and the triangle above will have to be eliminated. So that mistake we have done. Therefore, whatever may be the position of the unit force, the member R will be subjected to a maximum tensile force of 100 into 1.154, namely 115.4 kilonewton only. And this part, this triangular part, we have to eliminate. Eliminate this triangular part and consider only the trapezium when the load is applied not through the loaded card, because top card is not the loaded card. Therefore, this correction we have to apply, this we have omitted. So only the trapezium part of the diagram we have to consider. The triangular part of the diagram we have to ignore. This is the ILD for the member 1.154. So of course that you can draw using dotted line, because that completes the diagram, but that need not be considered. The triangle need not be. So that correction I have omitted. So that completes the influence line for the force in the members P, Q, R and S of the Warren truss. Similarly, for other members we can draw. Similarly, for other loadings also we can calculate. Suppose if it is subjected to UDL, if it is full span, you have to consider the full load. Suppose if it is partial loading, average loading to the left of the section and average loading to the right of the section we have to consider, and we have to consider only this part of the diagram for the force calculation. All those things are studied under beams, depending upon the position. That is only application part. Drawing ILD, this is the procedure. So we have discussed one, namely Pratt truss, which was invented by Professor Pratt, and this is Warren Girder. It was invented by a Professor Warren, right? So thank you. That completes this lecture. Thank you. ஐம்பத்தி 2 நிமிஷம் ஆயிடுச்சா? டீ போலாமா?